Look, if you're the kind of person who's still hung up on the fact that this is called a Mustang, you're probably not the kind of person who would consider swapping their primary vehicle for an EV anyway. You're also probably the kind of person who knows WWE storylines by heart.
It doesn't matter how you feel!
But if you're here because you're wondering if the Mach-E is worth buying over something like a Tesla Model Y or its similarly priced competition, then stick around because the answer is yes, probably. What's going on, everyone? Jax here, and today I am with the 2021 Mustang Mach-E GT with the performance option. That means it's faster. I'm going to focus on this GT trim of the Mach-E for two main reasons. The first being that if you search YouTube, there are literally already dozens of videos on the Mustang Mach-E in its sort of regular trim. The second being the fact that the GT drives really well. So the GT's blend of performance and range combined with the way that it drives makes it an extremely compelling electric vehicle. As you see it here, this GT Performance is fully loaded, which puts it at about $70,000 from a $60,000 starting point. That undercuts a Tesla Model Y equipped with its self-driving functionality that may or may not ever fully come on. I know Tesla owners, put the blowtorches, pickaxes, and clubs down. But it undercuts that price by about $5,000, and it's about $5,000 more than a Tesla Model Y not equipped with the full self-driving capability. This loaded Mach-E GT Performance is equipped with Ford's Copilot 360 version 2, as well as Ford's Blue Cruise system, which uses sort of GPS mapping to give you hands-free driving. But let's start with the styling, because quite simply, this is a great-looking SUV. I personally really like the way that the Mustang Mach-E looks, but in this GT Performance trim, I love it. While I'm not a huge fan of this particular yellow color, I think the bold color combined with the black accents and these wheels and the muscular lines really stands out. And from the reactions that I got from people that I saw on the road or in gas stations or parking lots, the general public seems to agree. Look, there are other good-looking EVs out there, but Ford has done an amazing job making the Mach-E look sort of purposeful and aggressive, and it absolutely blows the Tesla Model Y into the weeds from a sort of design or aesthetic standpoint.
What? No.
So if you opt for the GT Performance, what do you get? Well, you get a 91 kilowatt hour battery pack, giving this thing about 260 miles of range. That's paired with two electric motors, one in the front and one in the rear, giving this thing all-wheel drive. And those motors produce 480 horsepower and a whopping 634 pound-feet of torque. That well of torque combined with the all-wheel drive traction allows the Mach-E Performance to hit 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, which is faster than almost anything you'll encounter regularly on the road. And it's fun. A lot of fun. Oh my God. In case you're wondering, that's 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Slowing it all down are larger brakes front and rear, with these front brakes being 6-piston Brembos. The GT also has a lower ride height as well as Magna-Ride suspension. Is the GT gonna dominate at a racetrack? Well, no. but I think you would be surprised by how sporty that this thing feels from behind the wheel. Space behind the rear seats is pretty generous, with just under 30 cubic feet of cargo carrying capacity in the rear. And in case you didn't know, the front trunk has about 5 cubic feet of storage and can be used as a cooler with a drain plug in the floor. This makes the Mach-E an extremely useful tailgating companion, which is important to us down here in the South. And because of the extra space, since all of the powertrain components are under the floor, it's not particularly difficult on the inside for me to sit behind me. And that's impressive in a vehicle that's not a whole lot bigger than our RAV4. Speaking of the Mach-E's interior, I think it's a little bit underrated. I mean, sure, it's not like super luxurious in here, but the materials are pretty good. The fit and finish on this tester is not bad considering it's a test car, and these seats are excellent. Ford also did a great job with the displays and infotainment system. These screens are fantastic. They're crisp and high definition, and they look great. They're also generally intuitive and responsive, and they give you access to important features and settings without an obnoxious number of screen presses. You know how some touch screens kind of bury important features, and that's not the case here. They give you a nice large volume knob with the power button right in the middle. The heated seats and the heated steering wheel are one-touch functions, as they should be in a vehicle of this type, because if you didn't know, electric vehicles like to use heated seats and heated steering wheels to prevent from having to run the heater as much. It saves electricity. And you don't have to dive very deep into the menu to access the drive modes, which is nice. Pretty much everything you want to do is a two-screen press. My only criticism is that, like so many of these systems, there's still a little bit of lag from time to time, which just isn't really acceptable in this kind of smartphone world. But I'm willing to forgive it because Apple CarPlay on the screen is enormous, and that's awesome. So should you buy a Mustang Mach-E GT with the Performance Pack? Well, I think that sort of depends on one crucial question. Do you prioritize the looks of the vehicle as well as the driving experience of the vehicle over sort of recharge time and ultimate range and the charging infrastructure? If the answer to the first question is yes, then the Mach-E GT is a no-brainer. It's shockingly fast, handles as good or better than almost any SUV you'll see on the road, and it looks the business in this GT performance trim. Tune into my driving impressions video for more on this, but I'll tell you right here that I was legitimately impressed by the way that this thing handles. It's a very, very well-sorted SUV. But if you want to fully adopt the EV lifestyle and make this sort of your primary family hauler SUV, then charging and infrastructure could be an issue. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth on this topic in a future video as well, but currently, right now, any EV that's not a Tesla will have infrastructure considerations to contend with. Is that a deal breaker in my opinion? No, I don't think so. But if you are planning on using something like a Mach-E GT as your main family vehicle, you'll want to do some research and be realistic about your practical needs first. If it were up to me, I would probably take the Mustang Mach-E GT Performance over just about any other EV, especially sort of considering the price, at least until I get behind the wheel of the Rivian R1S, which I really want. I love the Mach-E GT's combination of space, style, and maybe most importantly, speed. The fact that this was Ford's first effort in this space kind of blows my mind. The Mach-E GT is a truly great example of what I'm kind of calling Gen 1 electric vehicles. And if this is where we're starting from, then I'm really excited to see where we're going. Oh, and I don't give a damn about the name, and neither should you. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it valuable, please consider liking, please consider subscribing, please consider sharing it with anyone else who might be considering a switch to the EV lifestyle. I thought that this Mustang Mach-E GT performance was a very, very compelling electric vehicle, and personally, I am ready and willing to make the switch to electric vehicles, and I think something like this might be exactly what I'm looking for. So stay tuned and I will keep you posted if I ever do decide to make the switch and what it is I decide to switch to. Thanks so much for being here. I will see you in the next review. Make sure you ride safe, drive safe, and I'll see you soon. Peace. Never fails. Press play and there's wind. Car coming. This is the same car that's driven by 3 times. Never fails, you press play and 75 cars drive by. I've literally been all by myself this entire time. I cannot catch a break right now. Cannot catch a break.